Welcome to episode 16 of the Cards and Cartridges podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, aka OG Retro. I'm here with my man Chris, aka Koozie Retro Games. How we doing, Chris?
Doing good. We've recovered from the birthday weekend.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, bro. We probably
Thank
said
you.
happy last episode, but officially happy birthday because birthday was the 31st. It's June
Yep.
2nd. We're recording this. It'll be released a little bit later, so it's
Yep.
confusing, but
We're making it work for you guys. We're busy lives, busy boys, but we're making it work. Everything
Yes,
else
sir.
is going well. We got 90-degree weather here on Saturday in Michigan, and I'll be
That's
camping. So
oh my God.
maybe hit the lake or play some golf early in the morning. We'll see what happens.
Your tent's going to spontaneously combust.
Camper, AC in the camper.
Oh, you have a camper.
So we're going with my girlfriend Becca's
Oh.
cousins, and they have a camper. So we're
okay,
bougie.
Becca's cousins.
I just road tripped in a tent for 2 weeks. I think I deserve a camper.
Yeah, but okay, Becca's cousin's sick though. That's awesome. That's awesome. That'll be really fun.
Yeah.
And nice. Guys, today we're talking about some awesome we've got some great topics. I came prepared today. I'm not gonna lie. I came prepared. I feel like
We're struggling 20 minutes before the recording to figure out topics.
It's okay. We're talking about number one, PSA has caught up. We talked about that last week. They caught up, but now Beckett has announced that they are shutting down all submissions June 7th. So what is that again? We're talking about the market again, and the market's an ever-changing thing. But what does this step now mean again? And do we think graded cards will spike because they now have this like intrinsic value? Just because they are graded, do we think graded? I've seen a couple people talking about this. Do we think graded cards are going to start to creep up because there's just there's a lack of supply because there's no more grading kind of happening right now? And then we got another question. We have a Nintendo Direct announced for June 15th. I wanted to talk about like how do we think Nintendo does with communicating with their fans, kind of their PR in general, maybe the customer support, what they do and don't do for their customers. Koozie is going to be talking about how do we learn about collecting or reselling, the hobby in general? Like how do we watch YouTube videos? Do we follow certain people on Instagram? Do we talk to our moms? What do you do to kind of better yourself in a knowledge aspect in this hobby? And then lastly, Kuzie's going to be talking about something apparently he doesn't know much about because he's never been to one, but I have. Gaming and card conventions and shows. Really dope things.
Awesome.
You got to go to them.
Can we get into the Beckett one first? I've got a lot of things in my mind that I want to talk
100%.
about.
That's first on the list. Let's start.
Cool.
You have the floor.
All right. So kind of the question was, is there going to be more of a sought after for graded cards? Like, are you going to see a bigger price difference in graded cards versus raw?
Right.
I'm going to go with
or more
majority.
Like,
no.
More like just because I wouldn't say, I don't know about demand wise. I think strictly, and I know like value is tied to demand in a way, but like, do you think there's like a higher price floor, if that makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
A higher price floor to graded cards because the access to grading isn't there anymore and it's more expensive. Does the value translate when that card gets sold like automatically?
Yeah, so I'm going to say no for everything submitted up until this point. Everything submitted up until this point, I think there's going to be such a large amount of that specific card submitted that there's going to be so much supply when those all come back, when PSA reopens and Beckett reopens, where you're going to see the flood in the market. Everybody's undercutting each other by, even if everybody's just undercutting each other by a couple bucks to get the sale, when there's 5,000 cards, so 5,000 people are undercutting each other by a couple bucks, things are going to come down. And so I'm saying no for everything submitted up until this point. I think that things that are submitted during the shutdown will command more of a premium, whether it be the new Chilling Reign set that's coming out and cards that are submitted from
Quickly
that.
Talk about that. Side note, incredible looking set.
Yes, I was just watching.
Like, holy, like I've opened the matchless fighters, I opened the Japan shit, so I knew what the cards looked like already, and I've
Mhm.
pulled some of those alternate arts before, but the fact that all these cards made it to the English set,
Mhm.
and oh my god, it's this is gonna be, I think this is gonna be a really, really solid modern set. And maybe for graded cards, like you're kind of leading up to, maybe some of these modern cards,
They're
will
going to
have
command more of a premium
or have
in
a
in
yeah,
these short term when people are coughing up the extra dough
right, like the hype.
to grade them. And I think you may see like Beckett and PSA commanding more of a premium than they already do versus CGC, for example, because a lot of people may be sending to CGC in the shutdown, but people who prefer Beckett and PSA are going to have to pay that extra premium because the person who's already submitting the card to get graded is already paying an extra premium. So that just comes out of the final resale value.
Yeah.
I also think that we're going to see a very sharp decline in the price of PSA 9s specifically versus a PSA 10. I think with the huge supply that's already been submitted, there's going to be a lot of 9s that come back, and people are going to be like, oh, damn, I got a 9. I don't want this anymore. We got to move it quick. Because people just had this stigma of it's PSA 10 or bust, especially with new cards that they pull out of a pack.
Yeah, I think modern especially, I kind of
Yes.
feel that way.
Yes, I agree.
Vintage, then I'm speaking
Yeah,
Pokemon.
I'm not talking.
Yeah,
I was talking modern.
modern. Yeah,
So I think we're gonna
yeah,
see a sharp decline in the price points of
I
PSA
totally agree.
9s.
And listen, good time to buy. I'm not gonna lie. I think there are a couple of modern cards that I think have the possibility to be like good long-term kind of hold situations, or like if you want to consider Pokemon like an investment or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
as close as you can get to it. I think there are some modern cards that might be, and I can't even really think of suggestions off the top of my head, but like some of the promos and stuff that you might be seeing, some like special delivery Pikachu, for instance. I
Yep.
think that card is retraced a lot in terms of value. And I think maybe a 9 in that might be like a good pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's something that's at least like way more limited than some of the way other like mass produced shit. So I don't know. But
And going off that kind of more quote unquote limited, looking at it from a sports card standpoint, if you collect sports card and invest in sports cards, go after your short prints, your super short prints, or your super short prints. The
what the
cards that
hell
are
does
more
that mean?
so back
Of
of
course they have something called super short print.
yes. So back on the back of sports cards, like the newest tops, whatever the serial number will end in like 064. Like there's the base card will end in 064, but then a short print will end in 065, and there's just a slightly different variation of the card. Maybe he's sliding instead of throwing or something, or like
Okay.
super
It's an
super
alternate art.
short print.
It's an alternate
Yes,
art.
yes,
Got it.
alternate art. So basically like that, and obviously the more super you get, the less of that card is out there and the more sought after it is. Go after your short prints, go after your numbered cards, go after your variations, the stuff that's not going to be your base cards that everybody and their mom is sending to PSA right now.
That makes sense. Yeah. All right. Well, that's interesting, man. I'm excited, honestly. I'm kind of bummed that I prefer BGS and all subs are closed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that is, if I'm being honest, that's who I choose to, I
I
choose
also
my
prefer
cards.
I have one BGS card, but after kind of talking to you, looking at BGS versus PSA, I prefer BGS subs 100%. Or I mean,
Yeah.
I prefer BGS cases 100% over PSA cases.
And I definitely like my CGC slabs too, so I would consider that as
We
well.
haven't really seen the catch up of like CGC popularity or prices, I feel.
I was gonna say the opposite. I was watching a couple, and this is like very anecdotal. I'll just say,
Mhm.
like, this is based on a couple of auctions, but specifically, I was watching. I believe it was the Sleepy Tyranitar from Battle Styles, and
Yeah.
the CGC either a 9 or a 9.5, and maybe I was watching two, but they both sold for like easily comparable prices to PSA stuff.
So maybe I am right. That would just be like kind of feeling out the hobby. I wonder if we're gonna see population reports drop for newer cards versus say Champions Path, Vivid Voltage, Shining Fates, like the new Chilling Reign that's coming out, or
Right.
even if we
I
have a
bet we
new
do.
set that comes out with a Charizard in it that everyone's seeing
I bet we
population
do.
reports are decline because nobody's submitting it.
Well, 100% that, and because I think overall we've seen a bit of a decline in the hobby. Like pandemic's over. People are going back to work, that kind of
Yeah.
shit, and yeah, like people are doing other stuff than playing or pulling
I
Pokemon
wonder
cards
if
and grading them.
do you think Nintendo and Pokemon
Mhm.
fed into the killing of that with like battle styles?
What do you mean exactly?
If that makes sense. Like battle styles wasn't really like a collector set. So like the hype for it and like the wanting to open and pull stuff and buy it off the shelves. Battle
Like
styles is not your
conspiracy theory, like they just released battle styles to
no,
like
I'm not saying that they released it on purpose, but do you think that helped out kind of the hype die down?
yeah. I don't know. I think it was a however, like you have Eevee Heroes, this set that if you've heard anything about this set in Japan,
Just
that's
watching a video on it before we started.
completely fucking sold out, like completely pre-ordered to death. They had to do
Well, that's how every
all
set was.
no. This is more than
Really?
set previous. This is like ridiculous. Like
Whatever
setting
happened to
records
your
type shit.
whatever happened to your didn't you have a bunch of like pre-ordered Shining Fates? Did you ever get all of it or did you end up canceling? What happened?
Yeah, I got half of it from GameStop.
I remember we got half and you're like, yeah, I'm just waiting on the other half's gonna come soon.
Never
And I
got
never
it.
heard it. Did
Never
they end up
got it.
just canceling it?
I talked to them the other day and I was like, yo, what's good with this? And they were like, yeah, we're supposed to get more. And I was like,
It's
might
not
not
worth it at
make
this
it.
point.
It's like, fuck that. Yeah, so no, but it's fine. I don't mind. But I do have confirmed at least 3 boxes of Eevee Heroes coming.
Nice.
So
Where do you order those from?
I got those from Nin Game.
Nin Nin?
Nin Game on they're a Japanese retailer that ships to the US, and I've ordered from them multiple times. They're legit as fuck. You got to order, it's shipping's not cheap, so you got to order a couple boxes
Yeah.
for it to be really worth it, but they have good prices. So like ordering a couple boxes and paying the shipping is worth it.
Makes it worth it. Yeah.
If you're paying, $5 shipping a box, theoretically, if you order 5 boxes and it's $25 shipping, totally worth it.
Yeah, 100%.
They have really good prices and it's fast shipping too. Like
Really?
I don't know how they do it, but like if it's not a pre-order item, it'll get to you in like 5 days from Japan.
It's like faster than me sending in country.
Yeah. I have no idea how it works. I really don't understand. But to me, I get stuff in like 5 days.
That's crazy.
It's really crazy. And it's if you order, and it's not even like a lot. If you order, like 3 to 5 boxes, it's definitely worth it.
Awesome.
But there's a little tip for you. Let's go to the next topic.
Cool. I guess that kind of goes into kind of how do we learn about stuff. I mean, I just learned about Nin Nin from you.
There you go.
Let's go on that. So why I wanted to bring up this topic was I've been collecting, reselling games for going on 5 years now. I think this summer will be 5 years. And it's like I've learned so much over the years. And just like, how did I obtain this knowledge? Because you may be just starting off, or you don't know about Nin Nin games, or some of the things that I watch and listen to, and how I learn, or how Ryan watches and listens to. So, Ryan, what are some maybe YouTube videos you watch that have good information that you like? Some pages on Instagram or Facebook groups that you like, things like that.
Dude, it's such a good question. I feel like I've always been someone that's like when I have a hobby, I'm like super tuned in. You know what I mean? Like
do you watch a lot of like reselling content, flipping content, things like that?
No, like that's something I
No.
don't watch a lot of. Like reselling content, I probably watch like none of.
That's my main go-to.
See, that's cool. I'm saying like my hobby, for instance, like Pokemon cards and like gaming and like PCs, like building PCs, the stock market,
Yeah.
like my hobby or cooking, like my hobbies, I'm like it's almost like probably borderline like on the spectrum type shit where I'm like so tuned in to these different things, you know what I mean? And just like I really focus on them. So like gaming and Pokemon cards and shit, like I follow so many different people on YouTube. So like whether it be like TCA Gaming, PokeRev, or like for more like market talk, Alpha Investments. He's more Magic the Gathering but does Pokemon too now. For there's another guy, I forget. I think fuck. I don't know his name, but regardless,
Shout out
there's
to boy
so
Rock Pokemon. He just started doing
Rock
Market
Pokemon,
Mondays.
100%. Rock Pokemon, my man Connor, good dude. He's doing Market Mondays on Instagram and YouTube. Check him out. But yeah, so people like that on YouTube, and then definitely Instagram, all that stuff. Like who's on Instagram? Uh, Gamers and More for like good deals. I
Yep.
know Corey used to do that. Corey Sally, another good page, another good friend. So like finding deals on Instagram. I think what else? I think you can find like I like getting inspiration from Instagram and like videos like sometimes, and maybe this is just me like not inspiration, but it like it almost yeah, I guess like it reminds me that something's out there, you know? Like
I was gonna say maybe like follow some claim sale pages, even if you're not gonna buy anything, but just like looking at their like if they do post claim sales and you can see like what they're selling and the price it's at. So maybe it's a game you haven't seen before, a specific genre you haven't seen before. And like, oh, I've never seen that game before. It's kind of expensive. Now I know it to look for it.
right, and it's not like it's I forget what I was trying to say. Is it I don't know. But yeah,
But a
I
couple
just
like a
yeah.
couple Facebook groups I'm in that I like.
Oh yeah, Facebook
I'm
groups are
in
great.
I'm in high end game room. And if you guys want any links to any of these Facebook groups, message me or Ryan on Instagram. We're pretty much in the same ones, and we'll send you the links to join the Facebook groups or whatever that. I like high end game room. It's a good one. Just kind of see expensive stuff. It's cool to see. You learn about certain variants, things like that. There's a Pokemon misprint one, so that's always cool to learn about misprints and different things like that. I'm in a video game kiosk Facebook group,
Yep.
learning about kiosk and learning about the different parts to those and selling and how things work. That's always cool. Um, YouTube, I watch a lot of reselling content versus more like collecting content. I watch people's like pickup videos, but it's usually like they go garage selling and then they do a pickup video based off of their garage selling. So I like Shed Flips. Shed Flips is a good one that does not specifically video games, just reselling in general. I learn a lot from them. I watch CJR and Green Bean when they do their garage selling videos. Business 17, he does good garage sale videos.
Oh yeah.
I get the majority of my Pokemon content from Leonhardt. I just like watching him open the packs. He's entertaining to me.
Kind of low key, not a huge fan. I like what he
I know a
does.
lot of people aren't.
I like what he does. It's just
Yeah.
like a little too cringe for me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so
I
that's
like
why I go
it
towards like
entertains me and I
PokeRev
just
and TCA.
throw down in the background while I work.
Have you watched TCA Gaming or PokeRev?
Mm-mm,
You should
mm-mm.
check both them out.
Cool. I will.
Or
And then
Poke Randolph too. Poke Rand.
Pokeran.
He's from the UK and he has one he owns like the most successful Pokemon store in the UK and like
That's awesome.
didn't even it like I mean he's worked super hard to get there, but I don't think he like really intended for that to happen.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
And like I said on Instagram,
got a
like
cool story.
just follow claim sale pages. You can kind of get like the market value and stuff. Um, follow people who post about stuff that you enjoy so you can see cool photos and kind of how things are. Even if like you follow somebody like Ryan who actually like makes content and like
Oh
posts
yeah.
about it daily. Maybe seeing stuff you haven't seen before and you're like, oh, that's cool. That's something I would enjoy. And then you go and pick it up or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Or even if you just like go to your local game store and look around, look at the shelves, get familiar with like maybe a system you're not familiar with and look at their expensive games just so you know what to look out for, things like that.
I think also too, for like this is I don't know, this just reminds me today. So I recently got the S the like the latest and greatest ever drive, right? For the Super
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo. So it's basically like a SD card to SNES. You can load anything, supports every fucking game, like perfect support, perfect compatibility. And I think that's like using emulation and ROMs is like a cool way to know for sure if you want to invest in like a physical copy of a game.
Dude, we're gonna get into that later in the
And
viewer question. The viewer question talks about ROMs and repos.
hell yeah. And that might be a hot take. That might be a hot take coming from your boy OG, but I think there's definitely some value. I for one find tons of value in emulation and ROMs and stuff. And there's one of the values. Like there you can learn a lot about a game before you buy it by literally trying the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Hell, listen to our podcast. Throw our podcast down
Oh
while you
yeah.
walk the dog, wash the bathroom floor, cook dinner, take your kid to school.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. There you go.
If you don't like, I guess a podcast is a great thing. If you don't have time to like sit down and watch a video, like you can't watch video while you're driving, or you shouldn't. Throw a podcast on in the car while you're driving or running or working out.
Exactly. And you know what? This is actually a good segue to kind of your second topic about gaming and card convention shows. Going to those is a great way to learn more about shit you don't know about.
I've never been.
So you've never been. I've been to a couple. I've been to, I've been to LI Retro, which is definitely my favorite one I've been to. I've been to the one in Syracuse, New York. I forget what it's called. But I've been to
Isn't
that
there one
one.
out by you called Too Many Games?
There's one kind of by me. I didn't go to that one though. So I've been to like, I want to say 2 or 3, and then I used to go to like some Magic the Gathering tournaments and shit back in the day. Like that was kind of like a card convention type thing. Anyways, those are good ways to easily some of the most like mind-blowing type shit. Like LI Retro specifically, they do an incredible job. They set up a whole museum of basically every system ever made. Like, so if you talk about learning about systems, learning about stuff you never heard about, never seen. Like, I physically saw shit that I will never see again. I'll never own. Like,
and it's
crazy.
cool to play that stuff. I've seen some of them do that.
Yeah, LI Retro, you can play most of it. It's all stuff that's like super interactive, and then not to mention that's like one part of the show, and then the vendor space is just insane. So some of our boys were vendors there. Retro Gaming Zone, Greg, Game Changer Mods. Shout out the boys. You know who you are. But anyways, just a crazy space to go, like, and you meet up with other collectors, other like-minded individuals, other people deep into the hobby, that kind of shit. Like, there's so much you can learn from going to events like that. So hopefully with the Pandy coming to a close, we'll be able to start having these events because we've had some card shows. I know my boy Rock Pokemon, shout out again. He's trying to get me to come out to these card shows that are near us in, I guess they're Rochester. And they're mostly sports cards, I think, but apparently there's some Pokemon vendors there as well. And I've been home. I've been like away every weekend that it's happening. So it just hasn't worked out. But hopefully I can go soon because, again, it just sounds sick. But as an outsider, what do you think?
I would want to get to them. I've heard great things. I've heard like the vendors are cool. The majority of them will like make deals with you, bundle deals, and like people just aren't dicks. Like it's a bunch of like-minded people coming together about a hobby, and you get to meet people in the community who you haven't met before. Say I went to LI Retro, I met up with Ryan. That'd be something cool to do or something like that.
100%.
And I'm not one. I said it before, I'm not the one. The way I collect is just go out and like buy a game. I need starting rates of the N64, but I'm not going to go buy it. I'll find it at a garage sale. So my always thought if I was going to a convention would be maybe take half of my garage sale profits or something like that from a season and spend at the convention and get myself something nice, or get myself a few things nice, or
you
maybe
could trade there too.
I was going to say, take some stuff instead of selling it, take a backpack full of trade bait and trade people. I thought that would be something cool to do.
Yeah, I've traded for some cool stuff at conventions. It's good stuff. I like it.
And they're really big. They're really big. The certain ones are really big, which can be cool. Smaller ones are even nice. You can even get like, I've heard like smaller ones that your local, like some hotels will have them, just like they're even space. So it's not something crazy huge. But like you said about the people setting up the systems to play on, that's cool. And I know at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, they've had people like, I believe John Hancock has brought like his full NES set there or whatever, and he had his full NES set on display, his full CIB NES set. So it'd be cool. Like, when else in life are you going to see a full CIB NES set? It's literally a museum
exactly
for games.
So that was like a good answer to the second question and another
Yeah.
topic. It's like go to if you have the ability to go to a game convention, no matter how big or small, I think it's worth at least checking out. Like I know I've been like quote unquote disappointed with some of the ones I've went to
Mhm.
because they didn't have this or that, but like all in all, I feel like it's a good experience to at least you never know when you're gonna catch a deal or like see something you haven't seen before, like run into someone maybe you haven't seen, like met, from Instagram, whatever, online. It's cool. I think it's a good way to really expand your horizons as a collector hobbyist. You know what I mean?
Would you ever want to be a vendor at one?
100%. And I think I'm gonna actively try and do that like soon. Because
Yep.
I would love to. I have so much inventory, and especially for cards, bro. I would
Yeah.
love to, because I could do that tomorrow. I have
Yeah.
enough high end stuff. I have enough. My like inventory for vintage cards is just insane,
Yeah.
and I would love to do that. So definitely,
And that's another
definitely.
thing. Like I said, like
Coming here soon.
I love selling on Instagram and selling on Instagram and like the claim sales versus selling on eBay, because you actually get to like give the people, now you're not giving the people the stuff on Instagram, but people are actually enjoying it. People post about it when they receive it. And you feel good that like somebody is getting the stuff. On eBay, it's just a black hole that you're sending off to somebody. So I think being a vendor at a card show would be awesome, or a video game show, because you're actually like physically making the transaction in person, having a little conversation with the person there. Hey, thank you so much for this. This is going to my collection. This is one of the last Super Nintendo games I need.
Yeah,
Like it just makes you feel good.
yeah,
It brings the fun into selling.
I agree. It'd be super
And I tell
relaxing.
you, like, I've had so much more fun selling in the claim sales. It's tedious and boring work to sit by yourself and post on eBay.
Oh
it's
my God.
it's grunt work, and it's just like it's boring.
Yeah.
And but like doing in the claim sales, like I have so much fun hanging out with Ryan and hanging out with the 40 to 50 people that come week over week for the last June 25th will be a year we've been doing this.
That's so insane.
Like it's been so much more fun. Like don't get me wrong, selling is my quote unquote side business, my side hustle, and I would still do it on eBay. But just having that personal connection with who you're selling it to makes it so much better.
100%, dude. 100%. Talking about personal connection, good segue to the last
We've
topic.
been well with the segues
We've been
today.
killing the segues today. I'm not gonna lie. The
You ever rode a
transition.
Segway?
No, actually, I've never rode a Segway.
I did a Segway tour in Pittsburgh.
Doesn't surprise me. How was it?
It was cool. It takes a little getting used to, and you ever rid a hoverboard?
Yeah,
So it's like
that
it's
I
like a
have.
hoverboard with a giant handle. So it's not it's you just slight leans to go, and then turning you just lean your body. So it's not difficult, and you feel kind of powerful on it. So I see why mall cops think they're all that in a bag of chips.
You feel more powerful.
You do just like
Pretty
zooming
funny.
through the street. They got some weight to them too. So if you
Oh,
like
I'm sure.
if you clip somebody, you're doing some damage.
That's pretty funny, actually. All right, but anyway, talk about the segue before, the segue was to go towards talking about what fuck, dude, you ruined it. What were we going off of?
Personal connections.
Personal connections, dude. How do we think? So the Nintendo Direct was announced for June 15th. Nintendo Direct is where Nintendo shows some of their upcoming projects, what they've been working on, what other companies, third-party developers have been working on, what's coming out for the Switch, what's coming out for Nintendo Online. That's pretty much it.
Mhm.
Maybe, yeah, maybe handheld releases, some other weird shit. Who knows? But how do we think in general Nintendo does with, communicating with their fans, being a company that listens to their fans, listens to the customers? What do you think, Chris? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, but it's hard to put them into words because it's not like Nintendo's obviously a very large company, so they're never going to make everybody happy. And it's kind of hard to have that one-on-one personal connection. But I think doing things such as the Nintendo Direct is a big thing. And did they used to do that like in person, like somewhere where people could actually go to the event and like hang out, or is it always online?
I'm not 100% sure, but I know they've always had like in-person promo events for a lot of their games and stuff. that kind
So
of
that's
thing.
cool. And I mean, having the Nintendo store is a big thing that I think helps the personal connection.
Nintendo New
Shout
York.
out our weekly shout out to our boy Brentstagram. He's
Right.
camped out of the Nintendo store for like midnight
He
releases for
has an
games.
Airbnb right outside of the Nintendo store. Uh,
Really?
no, it's a tent that's just set up
Oh,
right outside the Nintendo store. That if you want to rent, hit up Brentstagram on Instagram. It's like a, you know, four or
a two
five
person
square
camping
foot
tent.
tent that's right on the same block, and you can be outside the Nintendo store. So
Yes, but like he sent me like we were talking a couple weeks ago about it. Like he sent me like pictures of like him. Like he was one of the first like 10 for like Legend of Zelda on the Wii U or something like that. So he actually got to go in and like get it presented to him. Or like I think
okay.
Smash on the Wii U, he got to like get
Oh,
an
we got a
autograph.
signature,
Yeah, a signature of like the guy who like did the music or the
bro.
characters or something like that.
The pop. Maybe one day we'll have video, but people that can't see this poster that's hung up behind me is a one of 300 poster for people that got Link's Awakening at Nintendo New York. So it's stuff like that, man. They do some crazy shit.
And I
So
think like fixing wise, so like the Switch is known to have the drift issues with Joy
yeah.
Cons,
Wait,
and like
can I interrupt you real quick?
yeah,
I wanted to say a quick pros and cons list that I made up because I talked about that, and this will kind of set the
go
tone
ahead.
for everything. I had pros. Nintendo does directs. They used to do the Nintendo Power Hotline or whatever, so you could call
Yeah,
in and ask for help on games and stuff, and overall good customer support. Then I said cons. Uh, they're kind of known for delays with some major games. Like the Metroid series, we're waiting on that. Like there's been some, and like not bringing certain games. They do a lot of ports. Then like customer support, also a con because it's not that great in some aspects. And like Joy Cons, that kind of thing. And then the last kind of had like coming after modders and content creators with cease and desist, legal action being taken. Like
hmm
they love their fans, but they don't love some of their most diehard fans.
I had a opposite like with the Joy Cons. I was actually gonna make that a pro. Like they had
Okay.
the Joy-Con issues, and my brother's Joy Cons went bad. We're having drift on them, and you go on Nintendo's website and you could send the Joy Cons to them for free. And either I forget if they'd send you a new pair back or they'd
They
fix them and
fix
send
them.
them back for free.
Oh
So
yeah.
I had a good experience with that.
Yeah.
And don't they do like the Nintendo refurbish? Like they can
Yeah,
refurbish 3DSs and things like that.
I think so. And like I've had good so I think that I was gonna say I just was going off like the overall vibe, but like I've had good technical support with Nintendo. Like I had issues with getting locked out of my Nintendo account, and like someone helped me real quick. Like
That's
it
awesome.
was impressive. So I think overall they're pretty good in terms of like customer relations and stuff. But you guys got to let us know if you've ever
Yeah.
had a problem with Nintendo. Hit us in the comments, throw us a DM. I want to hear, are they all butterflies and rainbows over there?
Like I said, they're a very large corporation. It is difficult. You're
Yeah,
not gonna have some. I mean, I'm trying to think of another like corporation that I can like compare it to. I mean, I thought of
Sony,
like I'm talking maybe
Microsoft.
not in like the video game realm. I
Oh,
was thinking of something like Ford.
okay.
Like obviously like Ford has their like service dealerships, so that's kind of that takes care of that aspect. But like,
Ford customer service. It's funny you say Ford because shout out my pops's girlfriend. She just bought a new Ford, right? The
mhm,
Mach E electric truck, and it's really cool. I drove it, very cool. However, Ford customer service is probably the worst customer service to ever exist in the customer
really.
service realm. Yeah, garbage, dude. Absolute trash.
I follow a guy on TikTok who drives this Ford truck, and I think he delivers antiques or something like that for a living. So he drives cross country for like a living, and he's
Yeah.
like getting this truck to like a million miles, and Ford like won't recognize him and recognize him for like his Ford truck hitting a million miles. And he's like ticked about it. He's going for like the record, which is like 1.3 million. He's like, I'm going to Dodge.
Hell yeah, go to Dodge, dude. Or no, get a taco. Get a Toyota Tacoma. Man, I like those trucks.
I looked at the Tacomas when I was going for my truck.
Yeah, yeah. You
The
got
Tacomas are
which
pretty
one do you
sweet.
have?
Colorado.
Colorado. Yeah, I
Just
think
put
my
a
brother has that too.
just put a hitch on it last night. Little
Nice.
country points added jacuzzi.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, yeah. My brother's truck. I forget which one. He has a Chevy as well, because that's what you have, right? Yeah,
Yep.
my brother has a Chevy as well, and I kind of like that truck.
And I'm
But
liking it. It's done well. Did well on my road trip and happy
it's
with it.
yeah, you got the electric blue truck. It's pretty cool.
Electric blue truck. Yeah.
Electric blue truck. All right, but I think that's all our time. We got a viewer question, right?
We do have a viewer question this week, and it comes from our boy Sir Waffle 9455 on Instagram.
Hell yeah!
Viewer
Shout out to
question is brought to
Waffle.
you. Viewer question each week. We usually record on Thursdays, so we ask on a Wednesday. Post up on our Instagram story at Cards and Cartridges Podcast for you guys to leave us a question on anything about games or cards, and we have a chance to be featured and shout out on the podcast. We talked about it a little bit earlier, maybe we can go a couple more sentences in deep. Sir Waffle asks, how do you feel about ROMs and repros in the gaming world? I see such a stigma on it.
Yeah, dude, and that's what I was kind of alluding to before. There's a huge stigma on it for some reason. And it's like, I don't understand why. Because like, I get it from like a company's perspective, you know, but only kind of. Because, for instance, Nintendo doesn't monetize a lot of, if they monetized a lot of their old shit, I would make sense. It would make sense why they got like super pissed about people pirating like ROMs and shit. But you can't buy, like, you could buy Pokemon Red for I think the 3DS, but you can't buy Pokemon Red for the Switch. You can't buy like, I don't know, like any of the other Game Boy games for the Switch, or like none of that shit. So like people pirating that, not even pirating. I'm not endorsing pirating, because you could legally dump a ROM or like something, some crazy shit. I don't know, whatever. But playing ROMs and emulators, like doing that, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's like,
neither do I. And like they take up, I mean, if you don't have the space to collect, but you enjoy the games, emulate it. Get a ROM
or don't
of
have
it.
the money, bro.
Or they have the money. Yeah, exactly.
Like, and I love, like, I'm a huge like collect, like quality over quantity, and quality doesn't only mean like expensive. Quality to me can mean like sentimental value or like personal connection wise as well. But like I'm a huge quality over quantity collector. And so like you know, my GameCube that has an SD card via GC loader, and I have every single game on it that I can play instantly, like that's kind of sick, because I like playing all the games. And like, yes, I do have like some of my favorites in the collection, but I don't have to buy all the you know, the little ones, the ones that I'll play for a little bit, but maybe,
or it gives you the opportunity to, you maybe just scrolling through the list, you're like, oh, I've never heard of this game. What's this about? Play it. Like you talked about earlier. And then it's like, oh, if I like this is badass, maybe you get a physical copy.
100%. And I've done that more than once. I'm gonna say I've done that probably 10 times or 20 times. And it's a way I've found a lot of my favorite games is by playing like the emulator ROM first, and then they've like become, I think Zombies Ate My Neighbors is like one, probably the best example of it. I played the ROM and emulator back in like probably like, I don't know, third or fourth grade. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have a Super Nintendo, but I somehow found that game, and I was experimenting with like Super Nintendo emulators on my computer, and I found Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and like, holy shit, this game's sick. And like 10 years later, it's one of my favorite games. And that's one of the games that it's one of the only games that I have CIB for the Super Nintendo. You know what I mean?
The biggest emulation I remember, and whatever, when you had like a Samsung phone in high school, you'd emulate the Pokemon games on your Android. Yeah, that was a huge thing people did.
Yeah.
And obviously you get into the slimy aspect of people trying to sell repros as real or whatever, not disclosing it, things like that. How do you feel about repro labels? Are you a repro label kind of guy?
If the label's already gone, like I guess I don't like, so you have a cartridge and the label's completely thrashed. I guess I think a repro label might be better than no label. But other than that, I don't like, that's probably the only.
I'm not going to have a repro label in my collection.
I would never have a repro label, and it's just because I'm snooty bitch. But I don't think it's a bad thing. No foul, no hard feelings. Anyone that fucks with that or has some of those in their collection.
Exactly. Cool. I think that's a great episode.
That's a great episode, guys. Thank you for listening, guys. Make sure to hit that follow button. Make sure to hit that like button on YouTube. We got some haters on YouTube. Make sure to spam that like button. If you listen to YouTube, make sure to spam that like button. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, guys. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your week. Peace.
See ya.